Ladies and gentlemen, my fellow reptiles, this is a video response to Anita Sarkeesian's upload as of yesterday titled 25 Invisible Benefits of Gaming While Being Male. Now, on the Polygon website, they have this transcript of this, and it's Daily Effects of Male Gamer Privilege. I want you to keep in mind that phrase, male gamer privilege. Say it again with me. Male gamer privilege, male, gamer, privilege, male, gamer, privilege. That's what you and me have. So, I'm going to give you 25 answers to these 25 invisible benefits of gaming, white gamer privilege. Let's see what they have to say, shall we?
Many women have courageously spoken out about how they experience alienation and harassment in gaming. Despite this fact, too many male gamers dismiss the issue as no big deal and insist that there isn't really a problem. One of the luxuries of being a member of a privileged group is that the benefits afforded to us often remain invisible to us.
So let me ask you a question then. Did I have privilege when I was growing up in the religious household that I was in, where I was constantly ostracized, mocked, and ridiculed for simply having an interest in video games while other people didn't? People in my church thought that I was a video game fanatic and that I had no life, and that I would be, quote-unquote, I remember people saying this to me, I was going to be a virgin for the rest of my life. This included women in my church, because the church that I grew up in looked upon video games as a waste of time. I wouldn't call my upbringing in that religious environment and that church as a privilege, because their lack of interest gave the right to call me different names and call me a virgin for the rest of my life. How exactly is that privilege?
Working towards solutions requires that male gamers become aware of the ways in which we unconsciously benefit from sexism. We can't work to fix something unless we first understand its effects. With that in mind, the following is a checklist of some of the concrete benefits that male gamers automatically receive simply for being men.
Key word here, ladies and gentlemen, concrete evidence. Concrete, a really big word to be throwing towards in this rest of this video, but remember guys, it's concrete evidence.
I can choose to remain completely oblivious or indifferent to the harassment that many women face in gaming spaces.
I don't remain completely oblivious or indifferent of the quote-unquote harassment that many women face in gaming spaces. The thing here is that your definition of harassment is not the legal definition of harassment. Your definition of harassment is your own definition of harassment for what you want it to be. What is the legal definition of harassment? I know my definition of harassment isn't your definition of harassment, but you also have to understand that I guarantee you that you have no knowledge in regards to what a competitive game is. I say this is because even before video games were around, there was a thing known as trash talking. Football games. Males trash talk each other. Football is a male-dominated sport for the most part. That being said, video games from the early 80s up to the 90s, up in the early 2000s, and only till recently, has always been a very, very male-dominated thing. That being said, trash talking exists in these games. I understand and see what this is. So when I game with my girlfriend, which I do on a regular basis, we play Dota together. When someone says that she sucks because she got a higher KD ratio in Dota than they did, it's a typical trash talking, I'm mad at you, I don't like you, you're doing better than me, or you're doing worse than me. I face the exact same type of treatment in these video games when I game with my girlfriend.
I am never told that video games or the surrounding culture is not intended for me because I am male.
Oh my goodness. Really? Did you really just say, I am never told that video games or the surrounding culture is not intended for me because I am male? Let me educate you on something. You turn on the television. You have shows like Maury, Dr. Phil, The View, Oprah. These television shows appeal to a female demographic. Because they appeal to a female demographic, they're intended for that audience. Because they're intended for that audience, why can't video games, which for the most part in earlier years has always been intended for male audiences? Do you not know what supply and demand is? Do you not know what free market is? When a little boy goes to a toy store, does he go to the toy store in the girls section? No, because there are certain toys intended for a specific gender. Gaming has always been a very male-dominated area, especially in the realm of competitive gaming. And as someone who games with my girlfriend almost on a daily basis, I rarely ever hear them, when she talks on mic, say things like, "You're not supposed to play video games." In fact, to kind of debunk this even further, I remember when back I played the RuneScape days, early days in RuneScape, I created a female character in RuneScape for the simple reason as that I know that if I went around and asked other male players, asked them for items, could you give me some gold, could you give me a little axe so I can chop some wood, that they would jump on the opportunity because they think that I'm a woman. I've been in countless game lobbies with my girlfriend where the moment she talks on mic, they flip their shit and they're like, "Oh my god, a woman's playing a video game." And they get all horny and all buzzed and crazy because a girl is playing a video game. But I've also dealt on the Switch side where they're like, "Yeah, you're a girl. You must suck at video games because you're a girl." When in reality, I don't take that as an insult to her. Rather, it's a typical trash talking with people who are insecure about themselves or who are upset that my girlfriend is doing better on the scoreboard than them. My point that I'm trying to make is there are surrounding cultures and things designed for women. If women can have their television shows like Oprah, then why can't men also have video games?
I can publicly post my username, gamertag, or contact information online without having to fear being stalked or sexually harassed because of my gender.
I'd simply like to debunk this point simply by my own personal experience just 2 days ago on my Twitch stream. So guess what? I use my name Mr. Repzion or Repzion on my Twitch streams, and because of that they searched up my name, and in my live stream on Twitch they put my home address. They know my username. Because they know my username, they can find my legal name, which I use in all my videos to begin with, but they found my legal name, and they found my home address, which I previously no longer live, but my parents' home address. They posted it in my stream, constantly invading not only my home address and doxing my parents' home, but then I got a call from my mother saying that they got 2 pizza deliveries. That is a form of harassment when you kind of dox and use their personal information, and I'm a male, I'm a guy, I'm not a woman. I got no boobs, I got no vagina, and I had them dox me. Not that I care because I don't even live there to begin with, but they sent someone who works at Domino's to give a pizza to my parents. My parents declined it. Furthermore, I've had police officers come to my parents' house saying that I wanted to kill my sister, or that my sister and me were fighting and we were trying to harm one another. It is the internet. You don't seem to understand that these people can be anonymous, so therefore they can get away and think that they're so cool and hip by doing these sorts of things. I have dealt with this myself. Women have guaranteed dealt with that too. It is not a one-sided issue here in terms of when you give your screen name, especially because I'm on YouTube and I have a large audience, people want to harass me. People want to give out my personal information. People want to harass my family. It is no different than a woman having the same thing happen to her.
I will never be asked to prove my gaming cred simply because of my gender.
This one's pretty ridiculous. I will never be asked to prove my gaming cred simply because of my gender. Well, let me just say this. I've played my games with people who claim to be really good at a game, male friends, by the way, and then when I played with them, they demonstrate that they actually have no knowledge of the game that they're playing. The MOBA Dota 2, Defense of the Ancients, is a great example of this, of people who, my subscribers who have even said, I'm really good at this game, and then I play the game with them, and they're absolutely terrible at this game. When someone demonstrates a lack of knowledge within the game and attempts to play with someone like me, who is a very competitive gamer, I'm very competitive in my games, I would ask that of anyone, whether it be a male or a woman. This whole proving my gamer cred has nothing to do with someone being a woman. It just has to be with someone demonstrating their lack of knowledge of something that they present themselves that they're good at, or that they know a lot of something, and then they don't.
If I enthusiastically express my fondness for video games, no one will automatically assume I'm faking my interest just to get attention from other gamers.
This goes directly back to the point that I just made in regards to lack of knowledge within the gaming games in general. I hate using this word, but I have to use this word because there are these types of people. I grew up video gaming. I grew up very, very isolated from people because I was made fun of all of the time. I was known as the geek at church, the guy who spent hours upon hours playing GoldenEye 007 on his N64. I was the kid who was told that I was stupid because I didn't study biblical studies. Rather, I spent my time playing 10 hours of Halo 2 when it was the first originally released on Xbox. Video games back in the day was something that wasn't really this hyped up thing it is. And now, in modern day, right now, 2014, gaming is ginormous. So what our community and our culture back then in the early 90s was looked upon down as this negative, neckbeard, geek, fat guy who sits and eats potato chips and plays video games all day. And now gaming is this brand new phenomenon, which is like all over the entire world. And now you have people who had never been previously had any interest in video games coming into the game industry acting like they know all this shit when in reality they don't know it because they demonstrate it by their lack of knowledge within the games themselves. There are in fact people who fake their interests, and believe me, I would know this because I've done it in my own past with things, who fake their interests simply to get accepted into a culture or something when they know nothing about it. These are the people who I don't like, whether it be a man or whether it be a woman. Gender does not matter to me.
I can look at practically any gaming website, show, or magazine and see the voices of people of my own gender widely represented.
Voices of people of my own gender widely represented. Well, of course, because gaming was always a really big male-dominated thing back in the day, and it's only been recently that more women are starting to play video games, and that is awesome, and I love that. However, this is so stupid because cosmetic magazines, when you walk down the grocery store and they have all those People magazines or CoverGirl, all these magazines specifically representing and specifically aimed at women. Their gender is being represented by those magazines. Likewise with video games with men. It's so simple, yet you don't understand this simplicity. It's
When I go to a gaming event or convention, I can be relatively certain that I won't be harassed, groped, propositioned, or catcalled by total strangers.
Let's go off another personal example. For those of you who don't know, I cosplay as this man right here all the time at Emerald City Comic Con and PAX Prime in Seattle, and I will say from personal experience that I've had this happen to me. These conventions have what is known as con rules. They have an anti-harassment policy, anti-groping, anti-touching type of thing. If someone wants a picture, you're supposed to ask, all that cool stuff. I love it. However, I have had my ass slapped by a woman without my consent randomly when I was cosplaying. Do I now somehow contribute my conventions that I go to and demonize comics or video games because I got slapped on my ass or because someone got groped? If someone gets groped or harassed or touched inappropriately, that is bad and wrong, and that is why at the places that I go, there's police officers who you go and tell someone and they'll go and take the person and question them and arrest them. In fact, that's happened at numerous different PAX Primes in Seattle that I've went to. I've seen people arrested for harassing other people or trying to touch people inappropriately. But this point here that it's somehow related to video games is wrong. No.
I will never be asked or expected to speak for all other gamers who share my gender.
This one doesn't even really make a whole lot of sense to me. I will never be asked or expected to speak for all gamers who share my gender. I don't know what is this? I don't even understand exactly what it's trying to say. I've never seen like a woman, Anita Sarkeesian, for example, isn't she speaking for a lot of women? At least she attempts to speak like she's speaking for all women in sexism in video games, but I've seen lots of women speak out against her. I've never seen like a woman go up to another woman like, "You are a woman who plays games, therefore you must speak for all women who play video games." This is stupid. I don't even understand this exactly. I will never be expected to speak for all other gamers. I'm not asked to speak for other gamers. How often do you see even the game developers speak for everybody else? Speaking for an entire majority or minority of people, I think is pretty dumb.
I can be sure that my gaming performance, good or bad, won't be attributed to or reflect on my gender as a whole.
Now this is something that I do not see. I can be sure that my gaming performance, good or bad, won't be attributed or reflect on my gender as a whole. I play Dota 2 Defense of the Ancients a lot. I have over 1,000 hours logged in this game. I only started playing it about a year ago. And in this game, you have, I'm just going to say, for the most part, MOBA communities, for the most part, are toxic. Whether it's League of Legends or Dota, these types of communities in MOBAs suck. And all too often, I get stuck with young kids like between 10 and 14 years of age, who just go ballistic if you do anything wrong, if you don't deny the creeps, or you don't do good last hitting, or you don't deny the towers in mid lane or something like that. These people will write on the chat or say in voice that you're terrible. You should go die, faggot. They say things like that to me, and that's like common, and I'm sitting there like, this is stupid. It's dumb that they have to get so upset and angry and call people faggots and niggers and all of these different words simply because they made a mistake in the game. But I've never seen this type of the speech of calling people faggots or that you suck or whatever it be attributed because they're a woman or because they're a man. I get that same type of thing all of the time. My girlfriend gets it. I get it. What annoys me so much about this entire video as a whole is that you keep making a lot of these things, a gender issue when in fact it is not. If you are a bad player, people are gonna get upset and call you sorts of names and get angry with you, whether you're a woman or a man. Doesn't matter.
My gaming ability will never be called into question based on unrelated natural biological functions.
When someone's gaming ability comes into question, it is usually because they're terrible at the game. However, just this last part says, it will never be called into question based upon unrelated natural biological functions. Here's the thing. I'm a guy, and I play video games. I play about 60 through 70 hours a week, every 2 weeks on video games, and I get insulted all the time because of my voice. Sometimes my voice appears more high-pitched, and I'm told that I sound like a dickless faggot, or that I have a tiny dick. I'm insulted, or people attempt to insult me or trash talk me by insulting my biological things. I have a penis. The same thing has happened with my girlfriend. She's been insulted when she has spoken about she has a vagina, I have a dick. You know, it's the same thing. But I guarantee you in 99% of the cases, the response of your ability to play video games is because you're either bad at the game, not because you actually have a penis or because you have a vagina. It's you suck, I don't like you, you're annoying, I hate you, I don't want to play with you, therefore I'm gonna insult you and trash talk you all the fuck I want. That's how it goes on a lot of these video games because it is anonymous for the most part, and that's one of the things that I don't like is anonymous people can do anything on the internet and they think that they're so cool.
I can be relatively sure my thoughts about video games won't be dismissed or attacked based solely on my tone of voice, even if I speak in an aggressive, obnoxious, crude, or flippant manner.
I'm not going to repeat myself again, so just watch my previous 2 or 3 points that I've made in this video. Again, this is not a gender issue. My answers from the previous 2 points answers this exact same thing right here.
I can openly say that my favorite games are casual, odd, non-violent, artistic, or cute, without fear that my opinions will reinforce a stereotype that men are not real gamers.
I don't believe in this elitist mentality that, oh, you play Pokemon and you're a woman, well, you're not a real gamer. I don't believe in that type of elitist mentality. If you love Pokemon, I love Pokemon, I play Pokemon. If you like Animal Crossing, that's fine. That's a normal, casual game. But where exactly are you seeing this constant, you're not a real gamer because you're a woman and because you play Pokemon? Pokemon is a very simple, cute, adorable, fun, awesome game franchise that's been going on for years now. And I've never seen a guy say to a woman, you're not a real gamer because you play Pokemon. I mean, really, where exactly are you seeing this? And man, dude, I'm laughing because your mustache is just hilarious. I'm sorry.
When purchasing most major video games in a store, chances are I will not be asked if, or assumed to be, buying it for a wife, daughter, or girlfriend.
Are you serious? Let me tell you something. If you are a woman who walks into a video game store and wants to buy something for your game for yourself, or for your daughter, or for anything for that matter, when the sales associate asks you about the type of games that you're interested in, or why are you buying this game, they're asking you this because they want to know the type of games that you buy for whether it be your children or whether it be yourself, because they're interested in selling you more games. That's why they ask you this. They don't ask it because, oh, you're buying Grand Theft Auto, you're a woman? Well, you must not want to play that. You must be buying that for your son. No, they're asking, and even if you are buying it for your son, they want to know why you're buying this game so they can sell more of those types of games to people. Doesn't matter if you're a woman, doesn't matter if you're a man, they want to sell games. That's what the game stores are meant for. So when they ask you things like, why are you buying this game? It's not to doubt, oh, you're a woman buying Grand Theft Auto. You're a woman. You shouldn't be buying that game. No, it's to sell more shit.
The vast majority of game studios, past and present, have been led and populated primarily by people of my own gender, and as such, most of their products have been specifically designed to cater to my demographic.
I really shouldn't have to mention this again, but remember my earlier, and I think it was in response 1 or 2 of supply and demand and the free market, and how the game demographic in the early 90s and even 80s were primarily all really strictly, it was very male-orientated. So it's only naturally that they make games that are going to sell of that demographic. However, it's always great in these types of videos where you have these idiots who sit here and completely ignore great and fantastic games, for example, known as King's Quest. And I believe it was from Sierra Entertainment. King's Quest, if you haven't played it, is a fantastic game that was created by, in fact, a woman. I believe her name is Roberta Williams. I may be wrong on that, but I believe if you haven't played King's Quest, play it. But the point is, it was designed by a woman. And games that are designed by a woman, or even characters designed by a woman, for example, Bayonetta, it's completely overlooked. You guys don't seem to care when a good quality game is made that appeals to everyone in all age ranges.
I can walk into any gaming store and see images of my gender widely represented as powerful heroes, dastardly villains, and non-playable characters alike.
The issue that I have with this point is women who are on game covers, who are presented in video games, who are awesome female video game characters, are simply dismissed by you. Are simply dismissed by not only you, but Anita Sarkeesian. Because Samus Aran is way too masculine of a woman to be a proper woman hero or bounty hunter. Lara Croft is this masculine tomboy, and that doesn't fit what a woman really is. Strong female characters like in Bravely Default and are in general, these characters are dismissed. They're not even looked upon. They don't even care when women are actually even on the front of video game covers. Much less strong female characters are often dismissed by being too masculine, so there's a no-win situation here.
I will almost always have the option to play a character of my gender, as most protagonists or heroes will be male by default.
In the earlier days of gaming, for the most part, that would be an accurate statement, but nowadays, no, it's not. Games upon hundreds of games, and I'm not gonna sit here and waste my goddamn time listing off games upon games upon games where you can play as a male or a female, because there are a lot of them. Just look at the Pokemon franchise. You can choose. Look at the Mass Effect franchise. Look at the Dragon Age franchise. You can be a woman. You can be a man. You can have sex with a woman. You can have sex with a man. You can be a woman and another woman and have sex. And you can have a man and a man have sex. Games nowadays are not only making you be a playable male character. But of course, just let's throw all the games that do include that, and let's just say all games, or the majority of all games nowadays, you can only play as a man. Even one of my most favorite games that I've been logging hours on, Destiny, all the customizable things you can do, all 3 different Titan class, Warlock class, Hunter class, you can be a woman, you can be a man, everything, and I love games where you are able to customize your own character. That's becoming a very common thing nowadays, and because of that, it completely refutes any point made specifically here about not being able to play as a woman or as you want to play.
I do not have to carefully navigate my engagement with online communities or gaming spaces in order to avoid or mitigate the possibility of being harassed because of my gender.
Same thing again. Has nothing to do with gender. Please stop with making things a non-gender to a gender issue. It is making me mad. It is annoying. It is stupid.
I probably never think about hiding my real-life gender online through my gamer name, my avatar choice, or by muting voice chat out of fear of harassment resulting from my being male.
I already responded to this.
When I enter an online game, I can be relatively sure I won't be attacked or harassed if and when my real-life gender is made public.
The past 3 statements you guys have made have been identical. They're only just changed in their words to make it sound different, when in reality it's the exact same thing. I don't know why you just don't compile it into one instead of making 3 additional things which are repeating itself identically. Are you running that desperately out of ideas that you have to resort to making and rewording things to make a bigger list? If so, doesn't change anything. It's still invalid. I already dismissed this.
If I am trash talked or verbally berated while playing online, it will not be because I am male, nor will my gender be invoked as an insult.
Oh my God. Why am I even responding at this point? This is getting so ridiculous. You're gonna be trash talk or verbally berated playing online, whether or not you're a woman, whether or not whether you're a man. Stop trying to make you being a woman being called stupid or a fat slut, or in my case, a dickless faggot or a queer or a homophobe or a gay man. That's a really common one with me, is I'm always called that I'm gay. This is nothing special. It's a treatment that happens to women and men. Stop repeating the same bullshit for the past 5 things that I've responded to. You've made nothing new. You've made no new points here. You act as if these assholes, these douchebags, these anonymous people in the gaming, on these games, are like actively seeking out to berate a woman because she's playing a game, when it's no different that they berate me simply for being a man or because I suck. I'm sick of repeating myself. I probably should have clarified earlier that I do not endorse this type of behavior where people call each other faggots, niggers, queers, homos, cocksuckers, sluts, baby pusher out of their vaginas. I don't endorse this type of behavior, but it's something that is a very common thing within the gaming realm.
While playing online with people I don't know, I won't be interrogated about the size and shape of my real-life body parts, nor will I be pressured to share intimate details about my sex life for the pleasure of other players.
But the last statement that you say here, nor will I be pressured to share intimate details about my sex life for the pleasure of other players. I have never seen this. How do you get pressured by playing a video game to share intimate sexual details with your life? Like, if someone is doing that, if they're harassing you or sexually, like in Dota, there's a mute option. If someone is really rude to me, and I do this all the time, when someone's like, I deny their creep, or I miss a last hit, they freak out on me, call me a little small dickless faggot, and I mute them. Voila, it's fixed. They're muted. I don't have to see anything they say to me. I don't have to worry about them trying to make me feel bad because I made a mistake. But let me just tell you something. If you are a guy or girl who is easily pressured into giving intimate details about your sex life because some online anonymous person asks for it, then you shouldn't be on the fucking goddamn internet, period.
Complete strangers generally do not send me unsolicited images of their genitalia or demand to see me naked on the basis of being a male gamer.
Oh God, I laughed at this one because complete strangers generally do not send me unsolicited images of their genitalia and demand to see me naked based on being a male. I don't know what games you are possibly playing. I play hours upon hours of game. I have never seen someone demand nudes or tell someone on Dota, hey, you're a woman. I want you to send me pictures of your tits. I want to see your boobies bounce. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Come on, send me those nudes. I gotta see those nudes. I'm gonna play Dota and like fap to your naked image that I'm pressuring you to send me. What games are you playing where you see this? I game with my girlfriend on a regular basis, and I have never, in all of my time, she's been called all sorts of names when she's talked on mic, but I've never seen someone try to actually pressure to get her nudes.
In multiplayer games, I can be pretty sure that conversations between other players will not focus on speculation about my attractiveness or sexual availability in real life.
I can say from personal experience while gaming with a lot of females before, and I currently do so with my girlfriend, is that this is not something that I see. Very rarely, if not ever, do I ever see this in games, period. The most thing I think anything closely related to this is when my girlfriend has spoken on microphone, they've said that she has a hot or sexy voice. That's it. But it's funny because they say you must have a hot or sexy voice, and then they insult her by saying that she's probably a fat slut because girls don't play video games, and if they do, they're big and fat. Just like the old stereotype back in the early 90s and early 2000s that if you played video games and you were a guy, you probably had a big beard, you had a beer belly, fat, had no job, had no life. Same type of shit.
If I choose to point out sexism in gaming, my observations will not be seen as self-serving, and will therefore be perceived as more credible and worthy of respect than those of my female counterparts, even if they are saying the exact same thing.
I'm not sure how many people have heard of Christina Hoff Sumner. She runs a YouTube channel called The Factual Feminist. Her Twitter and YouTube is linked down below. I highly recommend you subscribe to her, but I respect this woman. She's smart, intelligent, she presents arguments, she's a respectable person. She's responded to even Anita Sarkeesian in a lot of things. And the reason we don't respect you, Anita, is because you have no academic sources, you have no credibility. And I don't mind people wanting to point out sexism or observe and examine video games as a whole, but the way you go about doing it, the way that people, in an attempt to respond to your criticisms of games, you instantly silence them in regards to labeling misogynistic. People cannot disagree with you. If people disagree with you, they're somehow this terrible, harassing, misogynistic rape apologist or something to that level. I will not respect someone like you. I will never respect someone like you who is a fraud. Someone who scams people of thousands of dollars, makes videos that are not only terribly researched, but have no academic credibility in regards, and then when people criticize that, you run away and accuse everybody of harassing you. We are not allowed to have any sort of a civil dialogue with response to you, Anita. Anything you say, no civil dialogue's allowed. So how then are we supposed to respect someone who does not want civil dialogue, but rather pushes their feminist agenda? I do not dismiss you, Anita Sarkeesian, because you're a woman. I have no problem with you being a woman. I dismiss you because your arguments don't hold up to scrutiny. You're dumb. You're stupid. And nothing anyone will ever say to you will, in fact, change your mind about anything. You are so far deluded in your third wave of feminism that I don't believe there is any hope for you ever in regards to a rational civil dialogue on anything that you present.
Because it was created by a straight white man, this checklist will likely be taken more seriously than if it had been written by virtually any female gamer.
Here's the thing about that. Whether this was by a woman or a man, I'm not going to take it seriously because I know for a fact, or if I'm wrong, by all means correct me, but this was written by Feminist Frequency. However, the words that she wrote are simply being presented with men. That's it. This type of victimhood sells, Anita, and you know that. And you take advantage of that. You want people upset at you. You want people to threaten you. You want people to make threats to you, because then you can sell that victimhood and claim that this is all about women hating. It's all about sexism equals video games. This has been my response to my 25 answers to the 25 invisible benefits of being a white gamer with lots of privilege. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. By all means, all the links down below. Christina H. Sumner's, highly recommend you check her out. She's an incredible woman, makes fantastic rebuttals and responses to people like Feminist Frequency. Her Twitter and YouTube channel is linked down below. The article in which I responded to, because this was a video and an article written on Polygon, are also linked down below. Feel free to check those out if you want to look at it in full. My name is Daniel Solzbach, also known as Mr. Repzion. Peace to rep out and have a fantastic Wednesday.